The former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, remained in power from 1988 to 1990, and then later on from 1993 to 1996. And during her both periods, she introduced number of reforms, but today we are going to focus on only two reforms that are included in your course. That's the electrification and women empowerment. These two policies are included in your course, so we will confine ourselves to these two policies only. The first one is the woman empowerment. Woman empowerment means giving more and more powers to women, or a woman upliftment, or in simple words, that's doing different things for the development of women class. This policy was introduced by Benazir Bhutto during her both periods from 1988 to 1990, as well from 1993 to 1996. Under this policy, she established women police stations. They were really helpful to resolve women issues, since in a society like Pakistan, women don't feel comfortable to file a case in a police station, which is usually a male dominated. And so because of this, the number of cases that were related to women could not be registered. So Benazir Bhutto decided to establish women police stations, especially for women class, so that they could file their case. Next was the establishment of women's court. Although in practically there are very few women courts, or they are not functioning that much, but she had decided to establish women courts as well, specialized for women cases, where only women judges will work, and only women lawyers will represent women in that court. And she established Women Development Bank for the economic development of women class. That was also very helpful for the women development. And the last was the monthly stipend was set for widows and orphans for their welfare. The next policy was the rural electrification. Rural electrification means providing electricity in rural areas. Under this program, she provide electricity to more than 4,000 villages in the entire country. So more than 4,000 villages were electrified through this program, and almost 590,000 households from all over the country were provided electricity in a single year. This was a major breakthrough in power sector of Pakistan, when electricity was provided on such a large scale, especially in rural areas. And it was during Bibi's tenure that electricity providing departments were made legally bound to provide new connections within 30 days in cities and 45 days in rural areas, to end the massive prevailing corruption in the sector at that time. So the electricity providing companies were legally bound to provide connections within 30 days in cities. That is, in cities, if somebody file an application for a new line, then the electricity department was bound to provide electricity in 30 days. Similarly, in rural areas, if somebody wants a new line, then the electricity department is bound to provide within 45 days. This was introduced to provide electricity in both rural and urban areas, as well as to end the massive prevailing corruption in the sector at that time. Now, their impacts. The first impact that we can see from these policies is it became helpful in reducing the gender inequality in Pakistan. Even still, we are at a very poor condition as far as the gender equality is concerned. Still, there's a huge inequalities present regarding the balance between both genders, but still her policies were helpful in reducing this big difference, this big gender inequality, or they were helpful in minimizing the gender inequality. Next was that her policies provide secure working environment to women. Women don't feel comfortable to work in workplace in presence of male workers, so they need such a conducive environment, a conducive working environment where they could feel secure and they could work easily. So by making women police stations and women development bank, uh, Benazir Bhutto's policies provide secure working environment to women. And this also reduce rural urban migration. Especially the policy of rural electrification was helpful in reducing rural urban migration. Rural urban migration, it's a big social issue in Pakistan. Especially this has negative impacts on both on rural areas as well as on urban areas. First, let's see, when the people migrated from rural areas to urban areas, the areas from where people have migrated had in those areas face a shortage of labor force, since the people from that area migrated to urban area, and the urban areas become overpopulated and overcrowded. So urban areas become also vulnerable to number of social issues because of overpopulation, while the rural areas from where people migrated to urban areas become also vulnerable to economic difficulties because of lack of manforce. And her policies create new economic opportunities, her both policies, the women empowerment as well as the rural electrification. For example, women empowerment create new economic opportunities. When women police stations and women development bank was established, new jobs were created in both in police sector as well as in banking sector. And when she introduced the rural electrification policy, jobs were created in rural areas, new opportunities were created, new business opportunities were created in rural areas because of electrification or because of electrifying those areas. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.